Ladies and gentlemen, what have I been telling you? I've been telling you that the Durham probe special counsel is going to indict more people. Now we have New York Post, ex-director of National Intelligence Chief Jan Ratcliffe expects more indictments in Durham's Russiagate probe. So the reason there are going to be more indictments is that the Durham special counsel filed a report on last Friday, detailing how the Clinton campaign and the DNC set up and framed Trump. What they did was pay an internet company, individuals associated with tech companies, to engage in surveillance of Trump's campaign and also his White House. While he was in the executive branch, President of the United States of America, they got information from the Oval Office, and this is not only despicable, but it's a national security concern. How can you have an incoming president in the Oval Office have his communication siphoned? Let's just use the word siphoned by an opposing campaign. While he's in the Oval Office, there was surveillance while he was in the Oval Office, and it wasn't the United States government. Okay, it was the Clinton campaign, a tech company, individuals associated with the tech company, engaging in surveillance of the White House, of his Oval Office, Trump, and of his campaign before he became president. This is infinitely worse than Watergate, and we knew this from what Devin Nunes was talking about. Now, Devin Nunes broke this story, or, found this out along with Kash Patel, 5 years ago, and media said, no, it's not happening. They purchased the Steele dossier, which was completely fabricated and just a bunch of nonsense. Then what they did was create these stories, because they had nothing on Trump. So they had to accuse Trump of communicating with the Kremlin through a server in Trump Tower. That never happened. That just never happened. So what they try to do is project. So Clinton had servers for 4 years with top secret and special access program intelligence on them. Okay? This is a fact. This was, of course, illegal. But James Comey said there was no intent, even though it's very difficult to somehow migrate or transfer or remove top secret and special access program intelligence from secure locations onto servers that are running outside of the United States government. It's pretty much impossible. So then they came up with a story recently that he was flushing National Archives papers down the toilet. There's not a shred of evidence there. But it's a story in a book. So if there's an allegation against Biden or Hunter, and the allegations are directly related to the words and emails typed in a laptop that he left at a computer repair store, then it's, oh my God, we don't know if it's really his. Even though business associates that he worked with said, oh yeah, those emails are legitimate. That we couldn't touch. We couldn't even talk about. The New York Post, their account was suspended on Twitter. But the National Archives with the toilet and all that's a legitimate story. Hit subscribe to this channel right now. We're almost at 193,000 subscribers, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to point out the absolute duplicity and hypocrisy of media and of how these stories are reported. And I'm also going to talk about the Durham probe special counsel and the fact that we're heading towards we're seeing a slow motion market crash, but I predicted all of this in my Federalist article last year in October. I said we're heading towards a stock market crash. We're going to experience a stock market crash because of the Democratic Party's policies. And I explain in the Federalist, and we're seeing that oil is almost at $100 per barrel. We're going to have 7 rate hikes because inflation's at 7.5% year over year, but it's a lot more than that. You have runaway inflation. You have interest rate hikes that are going to tank the market. They're already tanking the market even before the possible 50 basis point increase in March. Then you have supply chain breakdowns that aren't getting better. You have real estate bubbles here and in China. Obviously, Russia and Ukraine. Taiwan could be the next issue. There's so many problems, and it's taking place under the morally superior Democrats in the executive, in the House, and the Senate. They couldn't even pass their signature Build Back Better bill. That's how dysfunctional they are. And that would have actually exacerbated inflation. But hit subscribe to this channel right now. I'll have a segment. I'll have a live stream on what John Ratcliffe has been saying about John Durham, and more indictments later tonight at around 8 p.m., 9 p.m. Pacific. Ex-Director of National Intelligence. I don't want to sneeze. I'm getting close to sneeze. Okay. Ex-Director of National Intelligence John Ratcliffe expects more indictments in Durham's Russiagate probe. Former Director of National Intelligence John Ratcliffe said today that he expects to see quite a few more indictments. Ratcliffe made the prediction on Fox News' America's Newsroom after Durham filed a motion late Friday alleging that Hillary Clinton's 2016 presidential campaign paid an internet company to extract data from servers at Trump Tower and the White House to tie the 45th president to the Russia bank. Now, Jake Sullivan is also involved. He can indict Jake Sullivan if there was any perjury. These people lied under oath. What took place was the following. There was a recent indictment. So the Durham Probe Special Counsel indicted 3 people. Kevin Kleinsmith, the FBI attorney, the Steele dossier, one of the subsources who lied about the information within the dossier because the whole thing was set up. The whole thing was fabricated. It was a dossier purchased by Clinton and the DNC to set up and frame Trump. It was complete nonsense. It was the definition of baseless claims. But you still had the way they think. You had BuzzFeed, well, we're going to let people think about it. And then you had others in the media, oh, well, some of it's verified. None of it was verified. Then they say, well, the theme was verified, that Russia wanted Trump. There's no evidence that Putin wanted Trump. Look what's taking place now. Under mashed potato brains watch. So Joe Island is presiding over Russia about to invade Ukraine. It's happening under the watch of Democrats. It's happening under a Democratic Party administration, the same political party that blamed Russia for installing Trump and called Trump a Putin puppet. They were more outraged over the Helsinki conference than what's taking place now under Biden's administration. And this is after he botched the Doha Agreement and 13 Americans lost their lives and over 100 Afghans lost their lives. So he showed the world already that like Joe, Jake Sullivan, Blinken, all of them are completely incompetent. Now, Ukraine is about to get invaded while they're in office. Okay, could you imagine if Trump was presiding over this? He was supposed to be installed by the Kremlin. But anyway, Michael Sussman, the third person indicted in the Durham Probe Special Counsel, was paid by Clinton. He didn't tell the FBI he was paid by Clinton, but the Bureau knew already. The indictment is that he helped further this absurd story that was never rooted in reality, that a server was communicating with a bank in Moscow, that one of the servers Trump owned was communicating with a bank in Moscow. That never happened. It never happened. Nobody believes in myths and hoaxes and bogus, absurd nonsense more than Democrats, who needed some excuse to kind of, get the egg all off of their face, the embarrassment. They were mortified because they lost to Trump, so they needed some way to frame him. And all they did was believe baseless lies. And then they said that Trump lied more than any president. No, they lied more. All they did was lie for 4 years. Okay, they accused Trump of working with Russia. He never did. And every time he was telling the truth, he said he never worked with Russia. He never worked with the Kremlin. He was never installed by Putin. But they wouldn't give it up. The Mueller probe found nothing, literally nothing. They indicted people on process crimes for allegedly lying to agents that were in the tank for the Democratic Party. Peter Strzok said, we'll stop Trump in his text messages. Could you imagine if the reverse were true? So they found nothing, but now with the Sussman indictment, the whole thing's collapsing. People almost certainly lied under oath, and the latest indictment, the Clinton attorney, Sussman, what happened is he helped fabricate this absurd narrative that Trump was communicating with a Moscow bank through a server. Now we're finding out that Clinton also paid a tech company and individuals to engage in surveillance of Trump. Huge problem, because that's, guess what, illegal. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now to this channel. No search warrant, no nothing, and Clinton was not even part of government at the time. Give me your